and don't go far from the bus. We will need to get to the police office, put some signatures, and then we'll have you go through the checkpoint. We'll probably go through a checkpoint on foot. Sometimes they allow us to go all together on the bus, but most of the time we need to go on foot. And one important rule here is that you're not allowed to take pictures of police officers or security barriers. You can take pictures of signs, the small chapel dedicated to liquidators, pictures, maps and everything, but no barriers or police officers. Also, they're further to the left, not on the, like a little bit away from the road. You saw like white building, that's a toilet. As soon as you go through a checkpoint, you can visit it. You see, not the building quite close to the road, but further. You see behind the parking lot, behind the trees. Also, I will give you the set of rules to sign. You already know some of them, but I will explain the rest of it while we're driving through the exclusion zone.
Okay.
So take your passports with you, just the passports, and be around.
Do we need our coat?
No.
Wow. That's good.
Mi hanno detto che non puoi filmare, devi portare solo il passaporto, dai, ma sei una testa di...
No. Alright. Questo perché è bello.
You see here to the right, it's like two groups of people. People to the right, there are people fighting the blaze, first hours, and further are those firemen who are sent underneath the reactor to drain the water from the basement. In the middle it says, "To those who save the world," which is not in any way an exaggeration. And over there you can see actual fire station where still people are working, and because of this, parking here is actually not allowed. So take your pictures fast and we'll continue.
Yeah. Go ahead, Konstanin. Explain what this building is.
Yes, so this is a half-collapsed building which used to be a department of the state bank where people could put some money if they were making more than they needed at the time. But unfortunately, when the Soviet Union collapsed, most of those savings were lost. Because, communists were badly defeated by capitalism. They decided that they loved money more than they loved, the ideology.
So how far are we from the core? This is going to be radioactive? Or
No, there is no radiation here. There's level of radiation here is like 0.17, the same as we saw in Kiev. In fact, I don't think it's correct. I think the real number is like 0.12. But these Geiger counters we have here, they're not exactly best scientific equipment. They show they have very big inaccuracy.
And how far are we from the core at this point?
From here, it's like 19 kilometers. Well, we're like 2 kilometers away from Chernobyl, and Chernobyl is 17 kilometers away. Let's go.
Okay. So it's it's not that contaminated. I mean, you could live here if you wanted to.
Yes, one lady lived here for 30 years after the accident.
How can she live like here with no one around?
Why do you say no one around? I mean, there are people still working in the zone.
Yeah.
And there were people who provided things for her. So
Okay.
I will talk about it when we get closer to Chernobyl, because most of the people who still work here, they reside in Chernobyl, not permanently. But there are 8,000 people still working in the exclusion zone.
And do they still own the property here?
People who live here, yes. Could you stop this?
Okay. There we are. There we are. This is Chernobyl city limits. We're on a solo east travel, Chernobyl missiles tanks. Trips all your friends will be jealous of. Lupine travel. And here's a factory. Chaskoy. And there's activity there. What are they doing here? Wow. Oh, building something. Oh. Little factories. Oh, industrials, wow. Anyway. Truck. Oh, how are they up to? What? Hey. Strano. Hey. So Konstanin, what's going on there? They're working.
As I said, they were making structures they need in contaminated areas.
Structures. Oh, so they're making them there, then transporting them.
Yes, because it's easier, cheaper,
Okay.
safer.
Okay, great. No.
This is not like part of the memorial. They had just moved them from remote villages because villages were abandoned and statues were nice. But that is actually part of the memorial, and it's dedicated to horrors which our Japanese friends suffered. That memorial is called Hiroshima and Fukushima. It's kind of strange because I guess they decided that the word Hiroshima symbolizes both fronts. Well, in any case, over there you see two birds, like origami cranes, which now became the symbol of suffering brought to us by nuclear energy or bombs. Do any of you know why it's like that? Why it's cranes? Because there was one girl from Japan who got leukemia after the bombing, and she started making cranes. For whatever reason, she thought that if she creates 1,000 of those cranes, she will survive. Well, she died. Because, harsh reality cannot be. Unfortunately, but then it became the symbol. This was made in 2000.
Okay.
Cioè fanno nel 2001?
Yeah, there's a memorial. Look at that. Wow. So that's a memorial? Oh, yeah.
Anyway, angel. The angel is here because some people believe there is a religious... Guys, don't go too far. There's no radiation here, as soon as they can find us. So as I was saying, people believe that there is a religious significance in the accident. They think that it was prophesied in the Bible. There are lines which say that when the third angel of apocalypse blows in his horn, the wormwood star will descend on the earth, and 1/3 of all rivers will get contaminated. Now, the name of Chernobyl actually comes from the name of the plant, from the wormwood. Some think that the accident was actually this wormwood star descending on Earth. It's everyone's choice to believe it or not, I guess. And over there you can see the shape, I wouldn't call it map, it's not very accurate, the shape of the exclusion zone, and their candle holders, each candle holder symbolizing one of the abandoned villages. So you see there are like two levels, 30-kilometer zone and smaller 10-kilometer zone. And over there, that's like graveyard of destroyed civilization. The names of the villages, which look like kind of like road signs. Because when you drive through Ukrainian roads, you see signs like this, but the name is usually on the top. Here they made it a little bit lower, so it looks like crosses, because again, it's like a cemetery of civilization. Okay,
Andreychka, Pishishki.
names of villages. Yes. Hey guys, let's go.
Alright. Borodyash. Ah, this is, wow. Ah, this is really terrible. These are all the different Ivanov, Kolanchi, all these villages died with Chernobyl. God. Leave it. Against banning and what's the call? Wow. And then at the end you see the sign of the city wiped out. Post and after the accident. Border. This keeps on going and going and going. And here tourists are seeing the misery of others.
Different levels of radiation all over the zone. Though they still use Rontgen. You see the 25 micro Rontgens, which is 0.25 micro sieverts, and it's in what?
Rocco.
So here's Lenin, one of the most controversial figures of the 20th century history. As far as I'm concerned, he was a bloodthirsty maniac. That's just my opinion. Some believe that he was one of the greatest thinkers in history who was just misunderstood. Well, in any case, we had several thousand monuments of Lenin, but over the course of the last 2.5 years, a lot of those monuments were destroyed. One of my friends who was an active participant of the revolution or riots, whatever you call it, in the center of Kiev, presented me with a tiny piece of Lenin which was standing in Kiev. I still have it somewhere, which I think is unfortunate, because I'd rather those monuments were somewhere in the museum. Not all of them, but at least some of them. And if anything, I think the best idea would to put them all around the Chernobyl sarcophagus. It would be really symbolic, Lenin's guarding the sarcophagus.
But the power plant was called the Lenin, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin Chernobyl power plant.
Exactly. So the power plant was called Leninskaya Chernobyl power plant. It's a stage of history which I think needs to be researched and understood. But in any case, I don't know. I think communists killed more people than Nazis, just Soviet communists, and Chinese communists killed even more. So I don't know how his ideas had to be understood properly. But I just speak for myself. Everyone is entitled to have an opinion.
Like Bernie Sanders. This is the Russian woodpecker. Oh, look at that. Oh.
That's so great.
Have they used this in any films I've seen? Like a backdrop or like science fiction or?
Well, I think they used like design of it in what is that movie? Divergent.
Divergent?
Yeah. It's like huge fence. But I heard the movie was horrible, so I'll never watch it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, cool.
When we went through over there was like a military town. That's where people live. But when they got to the area around the actual antenna, they needed to go through another checkpoint. Now it's abandoned. And once it comes down, yeah. Area, security area.
Stop. There's a checkpoint.
Why do they need that for?
Yeah, what's in English? Maybe in case we got invaded. So Americans don't get lost.
Mm. Yeah. Mm. Mm. All right. Oh, this is cool. This is the Russian woodpecker. You see, it's humongous. Oh God. 150 meters up. 300 meters.
Spies have a very interesting sense of humor. I heard that in 1980s when Soviet intelligence was filled with spies and
No.
Americans knew everything about what we supposedly knew about them.
Yeah.
So they had like their own spies in the CIA who were feeding bullshit to KGB.
Yeah.
And at some point they decided to make a joke, and that like secret report which Russians thought they were getting was actually in Russian in the beginning.
Yeah.
So KGB would know how much of an idiots they are. Anyway, let's come close.
All right. Yeah. My father was an American diplomat in Moscow during the 80s, so that's
But, it's interesting how you see all these movies about spies, and in reality it's just so much more interesting,
Yeah.
When let's say the heads of the intelligence discover that they have a rat, they don't put him in jail. They actually start feeding him false information,
Yeah.
but they need to do it very carefully. It's actually very interesting.
So this thing never worked. So the CIA thought that it was doing some credible. What? It never was useful.
It was never useful, yeah.
So they kept that secret. You see, people keep failures secret. That's why they're top secret. Yeah.
Bring me back.
That reminds me. It's from April 26th. School. Saying this is an empty building, about 2 kilometers from Chernobyl. This was the dorm. Yikes. Oh, this is terrible.
A lot of things here are staged, obviously.
Staged?
Like you see the doll with burned face? That was not done by radiation. Also, radiation didn't steal all the blankets, nor did radiation break windows.
So it took them it took them a while before they evacuated, right?
Get back? What do you mean?
They left. They didn't evacuate right after the accident. It took a long time before they were evacuated.
A week?
A week.
Yes.
Oh.
It actually took 36 hours just to make a decision to evacuate.
Yeah. And Gorbachev said he didn't even know it was a crisis until 36 hours. Yeah. Wow.
It's really hard to tell what they knew and who was lying to whom, because in the beginning
Yeah.
they were telling the personnel to keep pouring water through the reactor
Yeah.
because they didn't realize that reactor didn't exist anymore.
Mm.
There was just molten lava, and pouring water on it was really bad because when water hit the lava, which was 2000 Celsius, it actually kind of decomposed on hydrogen, and the reactors number 5 and 6, the building for reactors number 5 and 6, which were never installed, only 4 reactors were working. And here to the right, you can catch a glimpse of that cooling pond. You see that lake? That's where cooling water was, well, cooling. So in this forest to the right, they had all those labs. And to the left, we can see the new storage of used nuclear fuel to replace the old one, which is too close to reactor number 4.
Okay.
And again, to those of you who are sitting on the right side,
I say donor.
further to the right, the building for reactors number 5 and 6. You'll be able to take pictures of all that now because we will make one stop, so you can take panoramic pictures of both a working part of the Chernobyl power plant and these parts which were not finished. When we get closer, you will not be able to take panoramic pictures, only pictures of certain objects. Okay, now further to the right you can see the new confinement, the silver arch, and to the right from the new confinement you see a yellow crane and the pipe with white and yellow stripes. Right? So between the crane and the pipe, that is the sarcophagus covering reactor number 4. What's left of reactor number 4? To the right from the pipe, that is reactor number 3, covered with the extra roof which was protecting it from radiation from reactor number 4. Further to the right you can see a huge pipe with red and white stripes and gray stripes. That is the steam tower above the turbine hall, and on either side from that tower, from that pipe, you can see 2 black boxes. Those are reactors number 1 and number 2. So you can get out of the bus and take as many pictures you want now, because when we get closer they will be very strict limits.
Yeah, here we are. Okay. Same.